Hi, I'm Scott Peckstein, Vice President of Sales with Autobytel. Welcome to the 5th installment of the Autobytel Dealer Insight Series. Today we're going to be taking a look at understanding better the leads that you're seeing come across your CRM, but also understanding what the consumers do to initiate those requests. What happens before that request shows up in your CRM. So we'll start off with the mystery lead. We all know it all too well. The consumer that you call and in response they say, "How'd you get my information? I never submitted a lead." Let's talk about the journey that consumer took before that request made it to your CRM. So the consumer starts off on a search engine, whether it be Bing, Yahoo, Google, and they type in something like hardtop convertible, 7-passenger SUVs, sports cars, sedans, whatever it might be. And then a company such as Autobytel, for example, shows up. They click on the website. Now they're in step one of the two-step price quote request. Before the consumer can even get started, the consumer needs to put in their zip, they need to put in the make, they need to put the model that they're interested in. They need to fill that information out to get to the second part of the consumer price quote request. Here we ask for even more information: name, phone number, email address, physical address. All specific fields that need to be filled out before the consumer is able to move forward. Most importantly, on this last step, the consumer actually has to choose the dealer to where their information is going. So they're physically checking a box at this point, whether it be one dealer or two dealers, and then the request makes it to you, the dealer. So thinking back and taking a look at the consumer point of view, it's really hard to understand why a consumer would, after doing these 6 steps, would tell you, "I don't know how you got my information," or "I don't recall submitting my information." We felt that it's important to understand the consumer point of view, which will definitely help you answer that dreaded question: how did you get my information? So the consumer told us they never submitted a lead. What are they really saying? We all just saw the 6 steps that the consumer had to go through. And by no means is it an easy, quick process that you can go in and submit fake information. It wouldn't go through. So they submit all this information. Maybe they thought that the consumer price quote request would get answered right there on the screen. Maybe they thought the price would just populate right there. The consumer gave their email address. Maybe the consumer was counting on an email coming across, answering all their questions, giving them that price that they're seeking. Maybe they're still a little bit high in the funnel and they're not quite ready to talk to a car dealership. And you get them on the phone and that's their way of telling you, "Hey, I'm not quite ready." Maybe somebody else in the household submitted the lead. Scott Sr., maybe it was Scott Jr. by the dealership calling, "Is this Scott?" "Yes, it is. You submitted some information online looking for more information on this Toyota Tundra." My initial reaction is going to be, "No, I did not." Is there another Scott in the household? Is a good question to ask. Or maybe at the end of the day, the consumer just wasn't ready to talk to us. And this is a great defense mechanism to get us off the phone. It could be, depending on how long it took for you to respond to the request, the consumer may have been contacted by another dealer or dealers prior. And now because they don't want to deal with a third dealer because maybe they have all the information they already have, again, a great natural reaction to tell them, "I didn't submit the lead," to get you off the phone so they can continue with the other dealer or dealers they're already speaking to. So now, understanding the psychology to why a consumer might tell us that they never submitted the request, here's what we can do. Send them that email that they originally requested with those price quotes, the price quote on the specific model that they entered, alternative models, because we know consumers have a tendency to sometimes have champagne taste and beer budgets. Send them those used car options as well. Follow up with the consumer even after this conversation took place where the consumer may have even told you that they didn't submit the request, because ultimately we know the journey the consumer just went down. It wouldn't be uncommon for that consumer to pick up the phone 2, 3, 4 days later, maybe when they're a little bit more prepared to have that conversation, and continue the conversation about that new 2016 Nissan Altima that they originally submitted. Don't give up on the consumer. Worst case scenario, the consumer could always opt out via email, but a lot of these consumers are buying vehicles and it's important not to give up and to stay in front of the consumer, considering they've already gone down this journey to submit all their information to you and handpicked you, the dealership. And lastly, most importantly, please never refer to these consumers as leads. They're real live people. So once we do get them on the phone, we should never mention the word leads.